Hi everyone, my name is Chris. I'm very lucky to be autistic and I am very lucky to be founder and chief enabling officer of I Can Network. I work with an amazing team. I'd like to firstly acknowledge the wonderful Amy, Kelly, and Kate Lethlean who've put this webinar together. The purpose of I Can Network is to prove what autistics can do. We're so lucky to work with thousands of autistic neurodivergent students across Australia. We run Year 7 transition programs both online and in schools. Our school program is the most extensive in Victoria, where we're part of the Autism Education Strategy and we partner with both government and non-government schools. We have an exciting partnership with the Victorian Department of Education to expand our program to 254 government schools. I was a Year 7 student in the year 2000, where I attended a government school called Wantirna College, and I had a principal and a teacher, two teachers who saved my life. They really did build up my confidence, made me feel like I belonged, and they networked me really well. Today, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we all meet. Personally, I'm on the land of the Wathaurong people, and I'm on Wadawurrung country. Now, I'm joined by wonderful colleagues of mine, including Rachel Hamilton, who is a program facilitator in the ICANN team. Rachel is also Disability Inclusion Ambassador. So she's an ambassador for the Department of Education's Disability Inclusion Reform. I'm also joined by Silan Waldhart, who is a mentor with ICANN and is Disability Inclusion Ambassador for the Barwon area. So for people who might be in other states and territories, and we are a national organisation. We do have a big online program nationally that is available to young people no matter who they are, no matter where they are. But Barwon basically means Greater Geelong. Kate Lethlean is here. Kate is a program facilitator with us now in our business development team. Kate, Rachel, and Simon will be reflecting on their Year 7 stories. We're also joined by Rin Bondell. Welcome, Rin. Rin is from our ICANN Online program. So ICANN Online includes groups focused on Year 7 transition within 6-week cycles. So our ICANN Online program is 6 weekly 1-hour Zoom sessions where young people in groups of 9 meet, develop social connection, experience the ICANN program in a safe online space. It can be interest-based. It's a fantastic program. And we run a big Year 7 program also online in January 2025. All right. So we will have a panel discussion between the 4 speakers today. And then we will make some time at the end to kind of sequence the different ways you can be involved with us to support your young person with their Year 7 transition. So I just want to ask the big question about how we know what happened in transition journeys. For mine personally, at my government school, I had a wonderful Year 7 transition coordinator, Christine Horvath, who just was such a safe person for me. But can I ask you, Kate, what are your top 3 things which really supported you with your transition journey?
Yeah. Well, I actually had a pretty good transition experience as well, Chris. I was going into Year 7 from a primary school where I had one friend. And I was really, really nervous about going into high school and having to meet new people and not sure whether I was going to make any friends. But I ended up going in that first day and sitting down next to a girl who ended up being a really great friend of mine in the future. She asked whether she could borrow a pencil from me. And I was like, I have that color. Yeah, take it. Go for it. Next thing you know, we were chatting away and I found out that she also liked Taylor Swift, which is a huge interest of mine. And it became such a fantastic friendship that I just sort of grew based on the fact that I had similar interests to her, and we were going through the same thing of going into a high school that we didn't know anyone else. So for me, I think that knowing that I could work with other students that I suppose were going through the same thing, but also had maybe similar interests and similar passions to me, really helped me in my transition into Year 7 into going into high school.
Thanks so much, Kate. Thanks for sharing. It is, I remember it was scary. Yeah, it was really
So
scary.
scary.
Yeah, I can hear
Mm.
the relief
Mm.
in what you found at the beginning there. Uh, Rachel, over to you. What are your top three things which really supported you?
So I made the move to high school with the support of an interest of mine, similar to Kate, my love of music. So I really love playing trumpet and many other instruments, and I use this to motivate me when at high school. And I think it's important that young people know that they can use their interest to find something to look forward to as well. Whether it's a specific class you love, or a sport, or a hobby, high schools have so much to offer, and there will absolutely be something that interests you.
That is such a good point. As autistic people, we do find our really focused interests a big source of joy. I could geek out with the history of European royalty. I'd still, like even last night, was researching Eleanor of Aquitaine for the, 1000th time. Why aren't we talking more about her? But, these interests, they're a fantastic escape for us, and they can be a fantastic hook when we're doing a really brave thing like transitioning to year 7. Thanks, Rachel. Uh, okay, can I ask yourself, Rin, about your journey?
Yeah, of course. So I guess building upon the interest thing as well, I had my orientation day at my year 7 class or at my high school. And I think it was a couple weeks or maybe a month or so, even more before we actually started. I think it was as early as term 4 or term 3 in the school year. And we did a bunch of like get to know you activities and things like that, which seemed a bit anxiety inducing at first, but I really appreciated the fact I was able to meet other people who wrote down on this little sheet of paper a couple of interests, and I'm like, ooh, I like that. Ooh, you like playing guitar? I play violin, things like that. So finding those interests is definitely that big way that you can feel comfortable. And the orientation day and like just the ability to physically be in the school and physically get into the space way before starting on the first day, being in your own clothes, being in your own sort of, I guess, setting a little bit more is a lot better than having to go in straight on the first day. So having that was really helpful to me as well.
Thanks, Rin. We love prep time and warning time. They're so important, aren't they? Silent, what about your journey?
I was really anxious when I started year 7. I used to get overwhelmed by noise, people, and other stressful situations a lot. And when I couldn't change the situation, I liked to remove myself from the thing that was stressing me out when it was possible, of course. What I usually resorted to and what ended up helping me the most was being able to sit in a quieter space so I could be alone in to read or zone out for a bit. The best places I would usually resort to going to the most were the library, a quiet corner of the classroom, or if the weather was good enough, somewhere outside under a tree or in the grass was really nice to sit.
Thanks so much, Silent. Really practical tips. That's excellent. Okay, we're going to change tack now that we've kind of, just for the audience, kind of sequenced, the different journeys that Kate, Rin, Silent, and Rachel have had. We want to move into advice and tips for parents, carers. My parents are Lisa and John, and I'll never forget the terror my mum faced in that term 4 before year 7 began back in term 4, 1999, before I started. And as a parent now, you are terrified about the choices you make for your kids. You want the absolute world for your kids. So if you're a young person listening, your parent absolutely wants you to fly. And for the parents listening, we know you're doing an amazing job. So just for our panelists, what advice would you give to parents, carers to help their young person have a successful high school transition? Rachel, tell us.
My one piece of advice for parents or carers is that the power of a strong start is so, so important. Go through this journey, this transition with your young person, get excited about it, talk them through the day. Where will you go at lunch? What seat will you sit in during class? What classes do you have today? And think about how you can make this easier for them. What is something special they can have for lunch? Do they need breaks? And if so, can we arrange for breaks at school? Or can we make a time after school or on weekends for just chill out time and recharge time? We know that you're on our side and we know that you want us to succeed.
Beautifully said. That is so helpful. Thanks so much. Because when you're a parent, you do get caught up in your worry. And that's very normalizing. Thanks, Rachel. Rin.
Yeah, so I actually have two quick tips to add on to that. So I would say trying to maintain existing routines where possible is really critical, considering, you're transitioning into high school. It's a big change. You want to make sure that while there's some changes in school life and sometimes social life, you want to try and keep those home routines as, the same as possible. That is something you have control over, and it can be very helpful to have that stability. Additionally, transition doesn't exactly end after just the first day. Obviously, the first day is very difficult in comparison to other days. It's a big change, but making sure that once you get past that, you've given them that amazing support. They've gotten through that first day very well, had a great time. Making sure you continue being there for them for the first week, for the rest of the term, for the rest of the year in high school, making sure that you're there to provide support where they need it, because there's going to be changes that occur regardless throughout the high school journey, and you want to make sure that your kids have support during that time and make sure that you're getting support from your guardians during that time.
There's lots of gems you've shared in there, Rin. One of them is, transition it is even beyond year seven itself. In Victoria, we've just published a transition policy which talks about transition as going from year 5 to year 8, acknowledging that it's a big phase. It's these formative years in young people's lives. So thank you, Rin. Over to you, Silent.
Well, I'm not a parent. I can imagine how stressful it is. I relied on my mom a lot for support every day during my transition into high school. Some of the advice that was worked out through some trial and error with our family and some additional advice from my own perspective, looking back, would be that school, especially around year 6 and 7, is stressful. When my brother and I used to come home from school, the last thing we wanted to do was to be asked about how school was, even if your parents are excited and everything. Um, at least for like an hour or two after we come home, it's not that we didn't care about mum and didn't want to fill her in, but it's really hard to do when you're still in school mode. With a break, we could unwind and de-stress knowing that we were home, and we wouldn't have to worry about looking or acting a certain way to be accepted, otherwise known as masking. When it's time for questions, the best way to avoid your standard "how was your day" response, or of "good, fine, I don't know," is to ask more specific questions like, did anything cool happen today? What's your favorite class so far? Or have you met anyone you'd want to be friends with yet? This might still result in a one-word response sometimes, but I know I would have an easier time answering them than open-ended questions. My last tip is one you can help your child practice, which relates to making friends. If your child's having trouble making friends, just tell them to start saying something simple like hi or good morning to people they want to be friends with once a day. Then, once they feel more comfortable, they can start asking questions related to a subject they have in common, like what they think of their teacher and their homework. Complimenting someone based on something they like about them, such as their personality, the way they do their hair, or their hobbies, is a bit more advanced, but another great way to kickstart friendships.
Magic. That is so, I must admit, that was my tactic in year seven, was just giving compliments out. I probably still kept it going. It works. It really does work. Excellent. Thank you, Silent. Can I, again, for those tips for parents, carers, Kate, can you finish us off?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's given such great tips so far. I feel like I don't have much else to add, except for the one thing that I found really, really helped me was the fact that my parents encouraged me to ask for help. I didn't know I was autistic back then. I didn't know that the things that I was sort of struggling with or the things that I was really good at was related to anything other than just me being me. But I knew that certain things I found difficult. And my parents said, hey, ask for help when you need it, ask for support, ask questions. just feel comfortable knowing that your teachers are there to support you, and they want you to succeed. So my parents giving me that sort of, I suppose, support and saying, hey, it's okay to ask, it's okay to do that, really sort of helped me get the confidence to be able to ask my teachers and get their support on my side. So I think that was the biggest thing for me.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Kate. All right. So we're all on the other side. We're all finished high school. Some of us finished a while ago, like myself. But now that you've finished high school, what would you tell your grade 6 self? I guess we've got an amazing opportunity. There are year 6 students listening here. And I remember when I was in grade 6, I was really afraid to tell people I was autistic. And now it's, almost in my introduction. Hi, I'm Chris, I'm autistic. It's just this thing I say. But I've had a long time to process and feel really proud of it. But the exciting thing is I meet really young kids now who take it in their stride and are proud of the diagnosis. So let's focus on, what would you tell your grade 6 self? Silent. What would you tell your grade 6 self?
See, there's always that question of if you could go back in time and change like one thing. It's similar to the question you're asking. I always say nothing, because I believe that having gone through all the experiences I've had to go through, I've built a great skill set that I wouldn't have been able to build without being thrown in the deep end first. However, I do believe that no one should have to find out things the hard way without any support whatsoever. So some of the things I would tell my grade 6 self would be that, firstly, it may feel like school isn't going to get easier, but making sure to take time for yourself and your hobbies can alleviate some of the stress. Second, making friends gets easier over time. Promise. Third, teachers are your mentors, but this doesn't mean you can't lean on them for support if you need to. When you're in an environment where everything's new and scary, having a teacher that's almost always going to be somewhere in the school is very comforting. I'm best friends with some of my teachers, because you very quickly learn that teachers aren't as scary as you, as a kid or a grade 6, will picture them to be. And last but not least, never be ashamed or embarrassed of yourself, and stay true to who you are, and always trust your gut. That's probably the best tip that got me through school, was trusting my gut, and just believing in myself. It's hard enough having to go through school and trying to figure out who you are and what your place in the world is at the same time as doing school and stuff. So if I'd have known some of the things back then, my life would have been a lot easier during my transition, I think.
Wow. Really, really helpful and powerful, Silent. Thank you. For parents, carers watching, don't worry, this is recorded, and we will translate the tips that you've heard from our speakers into a little tip sheet for you. So don't feel stressed if you're missing things. If you've got dinner going and many things are going on at home, we will capture all this for you. All right, can I move to Rin? What would you
Yes.
tell your grade 6 self?
Yes, I'd probably say just one sort of thing. I'd encourage my grade 6 self to reach out for that support, for that help when they do need it. I know that was something I really struggled with, feeling comfortable relying on those supports and those accommodations that I had. Feeling comfortable to use them was really difficult for me. And I think looking back, it would have helped me a lot to be more understanding to myself about using those accommodations. Even now, I'm using a fidget during the session, and I am a lot more comfortable doing that now. But I think if I could tell my grade 6 self, I'd tell them, please use these things that you're given. You have them for a reason, and they're going to help you so much if you let them.
So important. Yeah, that would have helped me a lot. At the time, back in year 2000, I didn't have I had both two things. I wasn't aware of some of the things that would have helped me, and I also didn't have confidence to speak up. So I wish I'd heard the four of you speak. All right, Rachel, what would you tell your grade 6 self?
So I think if my grade 6 self, and actually I know that my grade 6 self, and I know that a lot of other young people here will have been told this, that everything will be okay and that this will pass. Little me rolled their eyes at that and completely ignored it. And looking back now, I think being honest with little Rach and acknowledging her feelings would have been the best way to reach her and just let her know that everything you feel, no matter what, is valid and everybody else is feeling it.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel. Kate.
Yeah, Rachel, that was very much so along the lines of what I have to say as well, really, is that for me, I think the whole time I was just sort of anxious and worried about what was coming up and missed out on, I suppose, enjoying the moment. And I was told, yeah, all the time, oh, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fine. But now that I'm here and now that I'm older and I've gone through it all, I wish I could go to my younger self and go, hey, look, it's all good, it's all okay. It has ended up being okay. It was an experience. And they might tell you this, but it's honestly true. It's okay. We've had this wonderful sort of experience of ups and downs and all sorts of things, but I've made it to be who I am, kind of like silences. I wouldn't change anything. I may have experienced all of these things, but I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't make any changes to what it was. So yeah, I'd look at her and go, "It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fine. You're okay. You're cool." Yeah.
Thanks, Kate. Right, last question. All right, can you recall what you were feeling as your high school transition approached? I imagine well, certainly for me, I was extremely anxious. But how can those feelings be transferred to feelings of safety? My personal answer was it was access to a safe person, a Year 7 coordinator who was available and a naturally nurturing person. All right. How can those feelings of anxiety and other feelings that you might have experienced be transferred to feelings of safety? Rin.
Yeah, so I'd agree. I was feeling a lot of anxiety as high school was approaching, but I would also say that I was feeling quite excited because I think the idea of high school really made me excited. I was able to choose classes that I actually enjoyed, had a bit more freedom, things like that. But I think a lot of the specific changes and just the uncertainty, the sense of everything being up in the air was very anxiety inducing. In order to, I guess, resolve some of that anxiety, I know personally what I did a lot was try and learn as much information about the school as I possibly could. That won't help everyone. Some people will want to avoid the information, they'll want to have a bit of a break away from some of that information. For me, it really helped. So make sure that you have that chance to go through it if you do want to. Another thing that definitely helped me was getting everything all set up physically. So those things like physical school books and like all of those other book list materials. I loved getting school supplies ready. It was always so fun for me. And I think making sure I had it ready in advance and I knew what book went for each subject and which thing was for this and all of that helped me feel a lot more prepared and stable and comfortable. Another thing were the sensory supports that I could bring with me. So I have my fidget here, but other people might have other things. And I had it set up in my locker, a whole little setup of different fidgets, and making sure I could bring all of those in with me was really helpful. And my last thing was kind of preparing scripts and plans for different situations that would be, even more anxiety inducing, I guess, than a standard day at school or a first day. For me, this was explaining to teachers or to people who might not know me my accommodations, because sometimes people will see you in the hallway, they'll see you with like headphones or something. And if a teacher doesn't know, they'll be like, oh, why do you have headphones? Put those away. Having a script for that, knowing who I could be like, hey, go talk to this person. There, I've set up my accommodations with them, things like that. Having that prepared beforehand so I knew what I was going to do in these different situations was very helpful for when they came up. It reduced a lot of anxiety in terms of going to them.
So helpful, so practical. Yeah, and that's very achievable. Yeah, thanks so much, Rin. Kate.
Yeah, so kind of like you guys have said, I was really, really anxious, but I was also really excited. And I was also feeling pretty much every other emotion ever. It was sort of one of those times where you didn't really know what you were feeling. I just knew that I was feeling a lot. And so one of the things that really helped me feel better about it and feel more comfortable was knowing that, wait a second, I'm not alone in feeling this. Every single other person that was in my classroom, in my school, going through this transition was feeling probably all the same emotions as me. And so realizing that that person next to me that I'm too anxious to talk to is actually feeling the nerves and anxiety that I am made me feel more comfortable going, okay, I could probably talk to them because they're the same as me. They're feeling these feelings and it's going to be okay because we're both just getting through it together. So yeah, knowing that everyone was there feeling the same things, it made me feel a lot better about, knowing that I wasn't alone going through it all.
Thank you, Kate. Now we are running short of time. Can I just ask Rachel and Silent to briefly share how would you transfer things to feelings of safety? You'll just need to give a tight summary.
So a big feeling that I felt a lot was not wanting to go or a lack of motivation in attending school. So something I did was find something as small as it was to look forward to, find something to hold on to during the day. There's so many amazing and awesome things you can do at high school that you may not have done at primary school. You might love a certain teacher or a certain class, or you might have fun with a certain friend at lunchtime. Find something to hold on to you, and that will be your guiding light.
Magic. Lovely. What a power line. Great. Thanks, Rachel. Silent.
Yeah. One of the things I was always really anxious about, going in more into specifics of what the anxiety was feeling awkward when like the classroom gets really quiet or like you don't have any friends and you don't really know what to do with yourself. What I like to do was kind of either find a book or something to draw with, or a fidget, and that would help me feel more grounded and relaxed when those times did happen, because they sometimes do. Um, and I absolutely agree with what Kate said. It's really important to remind yourself that you're not the only one feeling anxious. And like Ridden said, having the fidgets is also fantastic.
Thanks, Silent. Thanks, Silent, Kate, Rin, Rachel. Fantastic reflections. Now, just a reminder, we do run a big ICANN Online program nationally, and that ICANN Online program has Year 7 transition groups. In addition to those groups which run in our 6 weekly 1 hour cycles, we have a big Year 7 transition program also in our January school holiday program, but it is embedded throughout the cycles, including in cycle 5 coming up. Can I just invite Rin to talk to us about what the transition groups in our ICANN Online program are like?
Yeah, so I'm actually running one of the transition to high school groups at the moment in our online program. And in addition to our other online groups, it's basically a collection of 9 mentees, which are our year 6s or our other like online participants. And then you have 1 or 2 autistic mentors. Not all of us are autistic, but at least one person in your group will be. And you go through a bunch of different questions you might have, whether that is about this transition to high school. We're going to ask you guys questions and you guys share how you're feeling. And then you guys ask us questions as well if you have any. We play games, we do a bunch of fun activities, and basically just getting to engage in these conversations in whatever way you feel the most comfortable. So that can be camera, microphone, chat, making sure that you have all of this choice to feel as comfortable as you can in these groups in order to, have these amazing discussions. And as I said, in addition to our transition to high school group, we do have a bunch of different interest groups. So things like Roblox, drawing, cats, and we even have a Minecraft server play program. So that's something we run on Saturdays in a 2 hour session every once in a while. I think it's a couple times a month, and we're introducing them more. And they're just programs where our ICANN mentees get to play Minecraft together and just have these social interactions and chat and just have a great time. I've done them a lot before. They're a heap of fun. And yeah, it's just a really great time getting a chance to be online with other people who have this shared experience, shared interest in this safe space where you can engage in the way that makes you feel most comfortable and all of that.
Magic. Thanks so much, Rin. So we will be running our Minecraft server play Saturday session next on the 5th of October. Our I Can Online cycle 5, so 6 1-hour group mentoring sessions will start on the 28th of October, and the end of the 6-week program will be on the 13th of December. And then in January, we'll be running a 2-week school holiday program from the 13th to the 24th of January. So there's plenty of opportunity for young people here to connect with autistic mentors at ICANN before Year 7 begins. Just an acknowledgement of our speakers. Thank you so much, Catherine, Silent, and Rachel, for all your sharing. It's been really, really powerful. We're really grateful. Can I thank my team, particularly the school business development team, Amy, Kelly, and Kate, who've done a stellar job putting today together. Thank you to our parents, carers, accommodating the time in your busy lives. We hope this has been helpful. Thank you to the young people who might have listened. We are right with you ahead of January 2025. We hope you have a fantastic transition. We hope you'll be part of our network because we want to be part of yours at ICANN, and good luck for a great 2025. We will answer questions via mentoring@icannetwork.com.au. We'll send the recording around and also a tip sheet from today. Thank you so much. We will let you all go. Bye, everyone.